welcome to the Will Studios. Why did I download that? Here we go. So I got this free lesson going on at the How to Draw Comics Academy. He's doing consistent character designs, and I'm just now tuning in. He's got this she looks like she'd be at home in like a Fist of the North Star situation. He's got some big puffy like blasted out hair, so I'm thinking like Road Warrior. She's got the big old knee pads and shoulder pads, so she's out here dodging bullets, but she's got a little fringe on the under side of her top there. Is that an armored top? Let's see.
Solidifying this hair, the secret to creating a rough sketch I find is just to get in there, defining the key areas of the drawing. So I'm getting a few in around the hair here. Maybe this character will become.
So he's got. She's got. Is her hand a gun, or is it holding like an internal thing? I'm gonna say because this is. Let's just catch up real quick. Excuse me. Actually, here. Let's hit the flat brush and set the scene a little bit here. Try to give myself. She's got 1 foot on the ground, right? And the other one is on top of something. I'm going to bring her knee out a little bit and have it. I'm going to try to think of where the tip of her toes pointing. That always helps me. I like using the chunkier brush when I'm laying things out. My leg is a little higher than his. There. And so he's got her right shoulder a little ahead of her hip there. Like her shoulders and hips are pointed in opposing directions, She's looking at though. So she's got her hip here. Should it be like... Should I do a similar pose to him? Let's do a similar pose to him. So she's like brandishing her weapon out. This way. Well, hold on a sec. Well, if I have it like that, I did the hips different, so now I got to do the whole thing different. It is what it is. All right, call me crazy, but if she's got her foot up on something now, then she's going to be looking out like this and have her one shoulder. She's going to be looking out over her shoulder instead of front in my picture here. So she's going to have a big old gun. I'm going to draw something similar, but not like exactly like what he's doing. He's got like a hook there. That could be cool. If she had like gadgets on it. Am I echoey? Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Forgive me if I'm echoey. If I had a chat, then maybe I wouldn't be. Or I'd know. And they'd be like, hey, you should do this. Like someone more technically advanced than I am would chime in. Be like, hey, this is what you ought to do. So he's got her fist up here. He's got one fist up. But I'm going to have it like down here. Like... or like guns here, like have it be like that, or have it have her fist come this way. And let's make her a little bit smaller here. And blast that hair out. I'll try to make the hair kind of similar. She's got a belt here. The tassels can come down like that. That's good. There. I'll point that knee a little bit more this way. And I imagine her like in, like I said, like Fist of the North Star is what I got from her design. I'm gonna imagine there's like wreckage in the background. There's like people living underground and like a post-apocalyptic, like techno kung fu like sort of deal going on. Screen it in blue, and I'm gonna come through with some messy inks here. Oop, not that. I want to stay blue. Let's see. I'm gonna kind of rough out. So we want to give her like a breastplate sort of deal. If he sees this, he would probably because he probably went through and like mapped out the anatomy and stuff. He probably, if I had to imagine the way the beginning of this went, can I actually rewind it? Maybe I should just do that. Sure enough, he's a teacher, you know, he's consistent. He's teaching people how to do all this stuff. I skip a lot. I skip around, but let's take sort of what I've done here and let's apply some How to Draw Comics Academy techniques, in case any fellow students, want to come around. So the way I kind of like my mannequin in here is kind of like that, but I also had her hips more like out here, right? Because she's kind of leaned back a little bit. So lean back. Let's put the important parts in. They'll be kind of held up, I think. Because I like to draw them with, like, gravity affecting them. You know what I'm saying? But for her, since she's got, like, more armor, I know she's going to end up with, like, straps and stuff. She's going to have some push-up action here. I'll go ahead and keep the strap there, connecting the shoulder pads, right? And give her like a little chest plate, and maybe I'll give her, on mine, it'll come up a little more, you know? She'll have like kind of one of those, like what Guts has, you know? Where the armor comes up a little bit to protect the neck from, like, I guess if she's being stabbed by someone shorter than her, it would work out. Expose the top there, because I think that's what he was kind of going for from what I recall. And how's this gun gonna go? Or is it gonna be, I kind of would rather her, I don't know, because I'm not listening to him, if it's a prosthetic or not. But for mine, her gun arm is going to be like something she puts her hand in, right? So I'm going to give it like a bevel thing here. I'm going to kind of create it in like pieces. I'll give it that like design aspect. Here, let's box it out actually. I'll have it get like skinny up here. Give her a hook. But it's basically facing down that way, right? Here, let's do this. Let's freaking... Because where's the muzzle? Where's the barrel, that is? And where's like a power source? Where's the ammo for this thing? What does it do? Right? So let's say for her... Is it an energy weapon with a grappling hook? Or should she have more traditional ammunition? You know? Should this look more like a sniper rifle sort of deal? Should I put a sight right here? You know? Something like that. And then, have something that might look like a clip coming down. Maybe a round. Like that or something. I liked the clip a little bit better. We'll make it a short clip. That way it's like, okay, I got 5 rounds in each clip. And then I'll make sure I give her some clips on her belt, because he gave her a belt.
Elements. And part of the detail elements, I kind of drop the anatomy of the character into the details. So we're going to go in here and I'm going to draw in her breasts. And I said breasts. Well, that's just part of the female body. You got to have them in there. At least if you're drawing a regular female character. So you can decide what kind of anatomy you want to give your character. It's completely up to you. Whatever works, whatever your preferences are, whatever is going to go with that character's bio and make sense. Okay, so do a little bit of erasing here and there, just like so. Looking pretty good. I must be fluking this because,
her
like I
thigh's
said,
gonna
my
be
sketch that I've drawn today usually doesn't work out.
Look, what are people looking at?
Smooth
you
manner
put as much detail as
here.
you want into the armor, into the whatever, and then you fuck up her thigh.
You know what? I must have gotten some of that sleep last night.
None of it mattered.
All right, sweet. So we got a little belly button there. We can add in some details for the anatomy section. I do like to do an anatomy pass before I start laying in details of the outfit or anything like that, because guess what? When the anatomy is there, it makes it easier for me to draw in the design of the outfit over the top in a way that makes it look like it's fitting. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the larger design elements that I want to incorporate here. And this will also encompass whatever I want going on in the background. I'm going to keep abstract. I don't want to be drawing leaves on trees or anything like that. Okay,
now
so
I hear what he says there about the anatomy. Okay.
Now, I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball Z, so I'm thinking
I'm gonna throw something else out at you. All right. Look how popular like gacha games are. Like, go play Azure Lane. All right. And if you actually like look at the forms that like they don't make sense. A lot of times the anatomy doesn't make any freaking sense, but the picture looks great. Because what are you looking at? You know what I mean? Like, if you get the thigh just right, or if you get the midsection like just right, you got a good picture. You know, I'm just saying.
all right, sweet. And then what I'll do for her outfit is, I might start adding in some shoulder pads. Now, because we're on a little bit of a time limit here, I'm going to try to keep this design fairly simple. So we're going to focus on large shapes with minimal interior detail inside those shapes. I say that now, but me.
Now this is always.
You know me as an artist. I love packing that detail in there.
I have a hard time sometimes.
So we'll go in and maybe add in.
Okay. I gotta think about and this is like. I feel like this is.
Don't worry, there's going to be an edited version of this lesson. So if you're finding it difficult to actually see what's going on here, I'll be zooming on.
I want to give her some big heels.
I'm recording it in 4K, believe it or not.
So I'm gonna have
That's the kind of quality I like to deliver to y'all.
Is the leg
there we go.
Too
spiky
big?
Looking shoulder armor. Next up, I'm going to create a little bit of a belt thingamabob. And we're mixing this with sci-fi, so it's going to be a bit of a mixer, a sci-fi. All right, there we go.
Mix of sci-fi. Sorry, but I can't help it. Australians. I watch Bluey.
And I'm going to extract a running down her body here.
I just don't understand why you still talk like that.
Although, you know what? I kind of want to show her belly button for some reason. I feel like that's an
Like,
element
why are
that I
you
want to
still talking like that?
have incorporated. So I'm just going to run that strap down to the top of the rib arch. And these spikes, you know what? I don't think they're
Maybe they
sci-fi.
don't see anything
They're a bit too
weird about the way
medieval.
they
So see
talk.
how easy it is for
It's
me to
possible.
erase those. Didn't put too much time in them. Didn't spend hours getting them 100% perfect, and for good reason.
Like
Now, it
one
might
day
even
they're
be
all gonna
better to
like
just
look at
keep
each
the
other and be
photo
like,
pattern
"Why are we
like
all
this
talking
for
like
our
this?
example.
Hey, yeah, maybe we should stop
Since
talking."
we are trying
You know
to
what? Yeah, let's all just stop talking like that.
keep this
Like that would ever
somewhat
happen.
timely for the demonstration. All right, sweet. And then this upper area will, yeah, that looks good.
Really, I guess I'm
Hey,
just
we're on
upset
something
that my
now.
daughters
Hey,
are gonna end up
nice.
talking like Bluey, or they're, you know.
You never know what's going to happen. You just start laying down lines, and before you know it,
Like I'm linguistically
you've got
cucked
something that
by
works.
freaking
So
Australian kid shows. With my
next we've
kids,
got
they're like, I want to talk
this
like
strap
this.
that we're going
I
to
want to
add
call
in.
it a telly. I'm like, it's not a
Along the
telly, it's a
underarm.
television.
Get that
No, it's a
incorporated.
telly.
Think about when you're
I'm like,
designing
oh,
a character, how does it function? The
no more
costume,
Bluey in this house.
the hair,
I'll
the
have
cape.
no more of it.
How are they going to move with these different assets? And now, as for
It's
her,
like that dude's got all the
rest
time
of
in
her
the
outfit,
world to
bring it up.
pretend to be a
Now
whale
we're
for
going to
his
bring it
children.
around
I don't.
like so. And I'm thinking what could be cool if
Let's
we
get
add
back to
these
this
little
drawing. Let's focus on what matters. Okay?
tags, like elements, onto the sides of our outfit there. I think that could be good. I'll do that around our shoulder pads too, just at the end. Awesome. And then over on this side, yeah, we'll add in another shoulder pad. We'll make her a symmetrical character.
All right, let's fast forward this.
It's sitting on. It just enables me to ability that makes them forget. Let's not be too much
So
of a
he's
perfectionist
there.
here, Clay.
All those here. Let's
Next, what we're going to do is zoom in on the
I'll give
head.
her a similar belt.
All right, I'm going to zoom in on the head because now we have to get up
Gosh,
close
his
and
is more like
personal.
head on. Mine's kind of
These
like worm's eye
details,
view.
you'll notice here, that I'm pretty rough around the edges. And I am just going to start drawing in the face on top of this football shape.
We want it to be
I'm doing this
more
layer, by the way.
like
So
where we're at her
you
eye
can
level.
totally do that too.
Right?
You don't have to do it all on separate
So,
layers. I would say that the level of refinement that we're going to be bringing this character to is refined. Okay, so not completely polished pencils, but to a level of finished that an inker could take what we've got, an experienced inker, and make them pretty with it. All right?
let's point her head that way.
See, the thing
right?
is with this
I use like sort
it
of
only
a
needs to
pictagonal
represent
shape
where the head will roughly
to
be.
decide, okay,
Then
where's
I
the
like
face
to,
going to be looking.
I like to
And
draw
then,
in the facial features and then just redraw the outside shape of the face around. It just enables me to get
make
a
sure I
face
use
shape down that's going to
like
entry to those facial
that
features.
sort of shape
but
for
we are going to
a female
take
neck,
a look
not that
at
shape.
facial proportion in just a minute to make sure that we draw this character into the next panel, that we're actually drawing her in a way that is going to be consistent with what we've done here. So we can be random, we can be crazy, we can get as creative as we want in the first panel. Okay. The only caveat is that we got to make sure that we replicate it in the following panel in a consistent manner. All those clothing design attributes that we incorporated, all of that I'm going to make
I'll
sure
make
that
her
it's
boobs
present
a
there in
little
the following panel.
bigger.
Okay, so draw this beautiful cheek of hers and chin down here. Okay, I call this the Eggman method because the head starts out looking like an egg.
You know what? Screw it. We'll do a
And
similar
look,
pose
this
too.
might
You know what I
not
mean?
necessarily be the best approach for
So
a beginner just because they may not
that
be
way, that
familiar or
way,
be able to visualize how a hair
and
should look in 3D. But as you become
so
more
he's got
experienced and you
it
get used to the sort of proportions that you're working with, this is certainly
more because I
an
remember the
approach
knees were
kind of
like
fun
closer
and a little bit
to
creatively
one
liberating.
another with his.
All right, and what we'll do next is maybe add a
Say here.
cute detail there. Add some line weights around the mouth section, especially where the opening and the corners are. And then we'll do some pupils and iris, those sketched in there real quick. And then finally, we're going to
Gotta get the hip bone right.
attend to the hair.
That's one of
and I'm
those.
thinking we're going to give her a nice fringe here
And
that comes down around,
how's he doing?
maybe up here a little bit. There we go. Look how fluffy and 80s styled, mixed with Dragon Ball Z, that is. Okay, and then what we'll do is we're going to take a bit of this hair and we're going to run it down around her neck. And that's just nice, feminine, but also energetic. We want that energy there in our characters, always. We want to be injecting as much love into them as possible.
I'm going to give her some clips on this belt.
I'm feeling some instincts here.
Pouches.
All right. Now, as an artist, as you practice and draw,
put it too close to
you have
the
to pick up your own instincts. My instincts tell me I want to incorporate a little bit more buffiness in the hair up around this region. This is exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so that's looking very nice. Pretty happy. I don't know why things are going so
leg quite
I
right.
must have really gotten a deep last night, apparently. I've been practicing my drawing in my dreams. Okay, sweet. So we're going to zoom out a little more here. And now this is where we refine the character somewhat. Okay, so I'm just going to go over the top real quick.
Where were her feet going to be?
It's not a refined masterpiece that we're drawing. Again, for the sake of time. I'm expecting this demo to maybe go for an hour or two. All right, so get comfy, drink a coffee if you like, and let's draw some consistent looking characters.
Ugh.
And this is how I would typically draw out hair, by the way, and style it. I'll sort of lay down a basic shape.
I'm sitting here trying to think,
as you'll often hear artists say,
where's her foot? You know,
molds together. Like, where's this fringe coming from? Coming from this section of the hair in the middle.
Say no to my artistic impulses.
I just experiment and I try to figure it out, and eventually it'll sort of starts coming together. The message really that I'm trying to get across to you is
not knowing what she's
nobody
doing
knows what
her feet
doing.
I just
as an artist. They just sort of, well, the good ones at least, I think, fumble their way there and end up with something cool. You have to be willing to experiment as an artist. Like, be willing to mess up and make mistakes. The reality of any illustration you set out to create is that it's going to go through an evolution, a developmental cycle, and you need to be open to developing it indeed. It's not going to look the way that it ultimately ends up being in the end.
Her leg needs to
right
come
at the very
back.
beginning. Okay, it's a journey that you're going to go on your art.
Her leg is not standing straight.
So embrace that.
It's going back.
And know that it doesn't have to be perfect right from the get-go. I mean, my goodness. Can you imagine putting that much pressure on yourself right at the start of an illustration? I mean, how the heck are you going to have fun drawing when you're expecting to just be perfect right off the bat? It's not going to happen. It just won't happen. That's not not the way that art works, unfortunately. It's more
Gotta
mystical than
draw
that.
her like a rabbit
It's sort of
foot and then
magical.
put a
It
heel
really
behind it,
is. It
basically,
comes
is my
to you. You
approach
kind of have
to
to just be in the moment
like high
and go
heels.
with the flow. Now you have a plan, you have a direction, but
And
about
that
this
looks
lady that
terrible
we've
for now,
drawn
but I'm
up
gonna
here.
figure it out.
I had no idea what the heck I was going to create. Now we've got this beautiful looking lady character that maybe I'll create a comic book out of her one day, a fully fledged comic. Just imagine that. Or maybe you'll get inspired by her and come up with your own medieval sci-fi looking character. And I guess I did mention Jim Dark at the start. He is indeed
I don't know
sci-fi.
what the hell she's doing with her feet. Whatever. I can come back
But
and
yeah, you
redraw
just
that.
never
Whatever.
know what will come of the first
I
line that
can't
you
see
lay
what
down
she's
onto
doing
the
with her
page.
feet here. Hold
Every
on a second.
single character I have over
He doesn't know
class,
what
be
she's
like,
doing with
man,
her feet either.
I gotta do something with these characters. I gotta make a story, design,
Has he
detail in
drawn her
general. One
feet
of the
yet?
two.
Nope. He ain't drawing those things. Here.
Now, you have to be careful because
Let's skip everything.
you curl up the corners of the mouth somewhat, and you can see that roughly looks like the
What's she doing with her feet, Clay?
the size her mouth needs to be. Now,
I
I
want to
go
see
in
her
there
feet.
and I might tweak it and adjust it just to make sure that's the case.
Did you see how dumb that looked before I erased it? That looked unbelievably.
We're going to have her bottom lip placed in, of course, too. So let's get that down. And you'll notice at this point with the egghead outline sketched around her facial features, it doesn't look much like her at all. So we need to tweak that outline quite considerably. Before we do that, though, let me go ahead and
I'm going to give her
finish up
different
the
shaped
eyes,
knee
because
pads
the
that
eyes
actually help
and how
me
we
understand
add in the
what the
makeup
hell's going
is
on.
going
I'm
to
just going to give her very
change our
reasonable.
perception of
Yeah.
how large
I'm going to put
this
a little
facial
box
feature is.
where the tip of her toe is going to go.
We'll do the
All
same
right.
with the mouth too. We'll add in some lipstick and just
then
try to
I'll
determine
make her
exactly
some sweet
what it is we're working with as far as their
boots. And
scale
that
and
way,
positioning and
the
presentation
orientation of
is
the boots is all I need to really
concerned.
worry about.
At the end of the day, we need to get a proper
And it looks like in
view of
his
that in order
version of
to
this character,
figure
she's
out
got like some wraps. She's got
exactly
like
how large
tools
the
on her boot and
outside of
stuff
the
like that.
face needs to be.
You know, maybe I'll have
Comparison.
her and give her.
So we're going to give her. She's got some pretty
Wraps
thick
and stuff.
eyelashes there, but they're not super thick. We are looking at a
Or is that just
close-up
like
version
bands? That's not like I almost gave her
in this
wraps like
instant.
she was Thor or something.
So
He was thinking more like straps.
we get a better look at the details
like for the thing
of her eyes.
Boot,
So that may be too thick ultimately. That might make her eyes look just too large. We don't want her to look like a different person. Maybe we can get away with that.
Thick thighs here.
So you can see the considerations that I'm making here in order to get it right. I'm really trying to ensure that we get the measurements and the design elements and the look of every single aspect of her face, soon the face shape.
I'll end up making her.
You'll notice his eye is much larger
similar to what
than
I
the
had
other eye.
originally
fix that.
Envisioned.
See how quickly things can run off track. This is why you got to be observant as you're working. You do have to, as well as having fun with it all and being in the flow and all that other stuff that I was earlier on. You do have to look at your art with a critical eye.
What do you think of that?
You want to get the accuracy in there, because things can run off track, and sometimes that's not what you want. So are these eyes looking like the eyes in the initial drawing that we created?
Now she looks like she's
what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the
like
canvas real
like
quick here and just get another perspective
you know.
on it. I like to flip the canvas a decent amount when I'm drawing because I know that I need it, and what it does is it allows you to be able to perceive the artwork with a fresh set of eyes without needing to be a different person, and or walk away from it for an extended length of time, which is really the only other ways to get a proper understanding of whether or not you're suffering from tunnel vision. Okay, so what we're going to do next is just pull out this eyebrow a little further. There we go. And I'm flipping the canvas constantly, by the way, when I'm actually drawing out a page for real. I'm not doing it too much here because I don't want to disorientate you. Obviously, because this is a close-up presentation of her face, we're going to get
I've been disorientated.
a little bit more detailed with it. I'm going to get a few more sketchy lines in there around the eyes just to give it some depth.
Work? I gave it a little bit of like a design.
See now, I might also extend,
which was pretty cool.
Tiny amount.
And that was like that piece that I imagine had.
There she has these
sort of a rail thing on it.
Little kind of rendering underneath her eyes there, so with that drawn in.
A sight.
Like so. And then we're going to switch back. I'm going to select her mouth here and in fact raise it using the move right now in order to just nudge that up
making her use
against the nose. Believe it or not,
I don't know what his weapon
what you'll find is there are some angles of the head that you can observe it on, which will cause the nose to be
with this,
up
I gotta make sure
protruding beyond the top of the head. So that's how
I don't
crazy you get. Okay, now as I was saying before, what we want to do next is reshape the face around the facial features because she doesn't look like the character she's supposed to be just yet. The first thing that we're going to determine here is when we're looking at her face, we know that there's going to be an extension of the chin. So taking that into account, I'm going to place it around about there. And we have to also keep in mind the changes that are going to be made to the form of the jaw as it is positioned bottom up view.
Sometimes you just gotta tell yourself, you're really, because when you're drawing a picture,
here,
you're creating an illusion.
And
okay? Because look, there is no
drawing out the side of her face
on my screen.
I'm going to erase
pixels, but your mind thinks it sees.
So, okay, so that this isn't distracting us. Especially these cheekbone areas could really
just draw
skew our perception of how the face is looking.
I think, this would be what a gun looks like.
Go ahead here and
eventually it starts to kind of look like one, especially like if this is because she's from whatever time, like who knows where this was designed. Like unless I'm drawn from a real life or a period piece or whatever, if you're doing like
drawing the face from the front like this can be tough.
You can make whatever you want.
Okay. Oh, the other thing that we want to do get into the actual face shape is
I wanted to give her like
add in some rendering for the lips.
Hook.
Remember that that's going to dark.
So this could be cool because it could double as like it's a grappling hook, but also like a kickstand for her gun if she wants to stay steady it.
You just want to make
she loads in. Okay, she's got different types of magazines.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You do. Of course you do. Because you get it.
Add in some line weights around the opening of the lips there.
Acadian Comics is here.
And then here we'll add a highlight up the lip. Get some place down.
Thanks for...
And just darken up the value around the lips. Now remember, the main areas that we're going to be adding line weights to are the corners of the lips and then the opening. Okay, so you can see the proportions here stacking up pretty good. As long as I can get this symmetry right, we'll probably be set for the eyes. That's looking good. Now we just got to get that face shape out. So let's go ahead and do that. And you can see her chin's quite pointy. And we need to, what we need to do here is an estimation. Okay, we need to look at the angle that the face is on, judge exactly how much foreshortening is going to be applied to it. In other words, how much the bottom of the face is going to expand in comparison with the top of the face, and then take that pointy little chin
We're gonna give her something.
and guess
on
how
this,
much it's going to scale up as a result. And I'm going to say about this much. I'm going to take it back to the corners of the door here.
Maybe binoculars. I'll think about it.
And
so where's he at?
lay in the
He's
side of
drawn
the
the
face.
second panel already.
Now the corners of the jaw are going to drop. If you're looking at the head from the front here, and I'm just draw up something real simple here.
We'll get there real quick.
Now let's say that that's the head. Looking straight ahead. And this is our eye looking at the head.
Some hair.
You can see that the
I'm gonna draw
positioning
the hair in
of the corner of the
bunches.
jaw and the
Starting
chin,
with like lower bunches.
as our eye are looking at it,
grow into like other
there.
bunches. He's got it coming
and
out from
if
the back
we adjust
here. And
that face
you know what?
to
I'm
now
not doing
be
that.
looking,
I'll have
let's
it
say,
start to come up.
like this.
I'll put a puff coming out here.
What you're going to notice is, check that out, right? We're still looking at it, but now the positioning
And then
of the corners of the jaw are actually lower than
put a puff out here.
See that? So in this instance, in this
So
pose,
this will be like
the chin is
the
lower
back,
and the corners of the jaw are higher.
sort of silhouette hair.
However, when we start to tilt the head
right?
up, especially in those more extreme tilted positions, we find that the chin actually is higher than the corners of the jaw.
And I'll copy
Pretty
him
nuts.
with the,
No,
because
try
it
to
kind
wrap
of
your head around
fans
that.
down with his bunches
Okay,
there.
so that's what we need to account for here as we're laying in face. We're going to draw an imaginary line across here to align the corners of the jaw. And one nifty little thing we might want to do as
he's got it split into like
that
sections
particular
like
action
that, which is
is
kind of
just
cool.
flip the canvas around.
Or I should say it like takes a break here.
There we go.
Because you don't want it to be like one
So then we'll
direction.
run our contour up the sides of the face there. And that's pretty much the character's face put in. What we can do is get rid of these construction lines here. And that's not bad, right? Now, once we integrate the hair, it's going to look a heck of a lot like her, in fact. So let's just go back to these eyebrows and get those figured out.
I draw a clown face for my
we'll darken
faces.
that.
Clown face and cheekbones.
Alrighty.
For the like framing it out.
And you'll notice that her neck is probably a little too long now because of the adjustments that we made to her chin. Why? What we'll do is we'll lift that collarbone up.
I'm not trying to distort things here.
There we go. And now let's draw in that hair, because that's what's really going to give us the home run here. All right. The hair is going to come down. Roughly draw it in first. This big bit off to the side. Draw that out. And do a little bit of erasing up here. Get rid of that. And there we go. Look, hair, it looks really cool, but
Stream sniping you.
boy, oh boy.
Here, I'm gonna pause it. That way I'm not like just because I've skipped around a bunch. Hey, I'm not playing the whole lesson. Okay, let's do this though. Here, for a minute I'll do this. Let's catch up.
The character that you're
Here. That Will's just stream. He's just sniping my stream, my free lesson. Gotta make sure my boobs are bigger. They can't be ridiculous though. Like I don't want them to be like. I don't know how people, or how Clayton would even feel about that. Maybe I should ask him and be like, "Hey, man, like, how do you feel about me doing this? Like, following along and." Because he might not care. Probably doesn't. If I had to guess, if I had to, like, he'd probably be perfectly fine with it. So his next Apano is where she's looking slightly up, right? And maybe she's looking over her gun. Is that what I'm seeing? She can just cheat in that position. And alright, so her hairline would be here. Right? She's looking at us, I think. Or is she looking? Where's she looking? Cheeks. Nose. She's kind of got a smile going. You really only need like a little shadow at the end to change a frown to a smile. And Sometimes I just take my pencil for a spin, and then I see where I fucked it up, you know? So I kind of get like what I would want it to look like, and then I'm like, okay, fix this shit and this shit. You know. But I'll be doing that in the next layer anyway. The point I want to make in this layer is, okay, her hair is going to come out like that because it's so fluffy, you know what I mean? We're going to whip it around like Ariel. She's got that part there. Some of the messiness there, right? It's starting to look alright. I think so. Let's make sure she has a soft chin and that I can see a little bit of that armor coming up there. Bring it down a little bit. Come back up. And let's start with the hair. Where exactly do I want that to go? You know, here's what it is. So it's going to come over like that. That's what it is. Because the way that I have it coming, add another one. Okay, so when she's looking down, it'll come down. When she's looking up, it'll blow this way, right? Where it'll come down a little bit, maybe. I kind of want it to come across the face a little bit. Oh, that. But I also imagine fluffy hair. Let's start over here. And then I'll start here. Jim Lee always said, start with the eyes. That's what I thought. Because that's what everyone's going to be looking at, right? You really like the most important thing, in my opinion, is to make sure the bottom, at the very least, of the eyes is lined up. So, I want to make sure her eyes are pointed in the same direction. I feel like that's a very important thing to get right. Trying to think of where the edge of the head is. It's going to be about there, right? It's important to note that ladies have different sideburns than guys. Because they're not going into a beard. You know what I mean? But does she have, like, hairs coming down? Like that? Probably. At least a little bit. Gotta be careful not to lay in like a new side of the head. That's something that I'll sometimes do, is when I'm like contouring the face. I'm like, no, let's just make this work because it looks good. Let's just be like, look, it looks good. It looks fine. I feel like I'm closing in on him. He's on the third panel. Ha! What happened? Whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give her just... Dude, should I give her a fucking lollipop? If I gave her a lollipop... Give her teeth something to do. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And we can even give her like a cool... Give her a band-aid to help. It's tough because you don't want to make her face too like busy, but you want to give like the impression of the shape of the cheeks. It's pretty good, honestly. cut it off there. Oop. Uniform. And then I'm gonna thicken up her mascara in a bit. Don't worry. Ah. So. Now we got her looking out. He wants to see a bus shot. He wants to see right there. We want to fill this panel. I'm going to post this to the academy. Here, hold on a second. I'm just scribbling and listening now. Just thinking. How's he got it? Bit more. I'm erasing all this. And is he... Where's she looking, dude? Where we put that center line is confusing me. Maybe it's just because I wasn't watching him when he did it. I wasn't. He's gonna move that ear back, I think. Let's just make it make sense to me. I think... maybe he made that one curve line too severe and it's throwing me off. Alright. That is what makes sense to me as far as like mapping out like what a face ought to be doing. Everyone has their own method. He's fully warmed up now. The way he has the neck makes me think that she's looking like way out. But then where he has that cross, or maybe, okay, maybe that line is meant to signify the side of the head. I think I figured it out. I should have trusted my initial... Alright, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Sorry. Give her those shoulder pads. Give her freaking... the hair is the defining feature here. So it's just a freaking windsock. And we can have it be where it's like, you know, more drama. She's like turning a little bit. Alright. Put in a pretty little face. Where her armor's gonna go. I was kind of like, sometimes I'll just be trying to think about what to be doing next. Because what's she doing, man? And I think my initial, because where's her, is she holding something in that first panel? She's happy to see something in the second panel. And then what? Maybe she's at ease now, you know. She was coming out. She was gonna be ready to fire, and then, you know what? No need. Oh, I was aiming it wrong. It's got to be aimed that way. All right. So this panel can give a closer look at her little chest plate here, which will have like let's put a little like industrial design on it. And it's got to be like straight, right? Okay. In here, it was like part of it. So it'll come out like that. giving her a strap. I'm giving her an underboob strap because my lady's got some heavies. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to give her like Don't ask me that, Clay. He just asked if you see any inconsistencies, be sure to tell me. Like, people get angry when I do that. People get upset. I've never had a good reaction. I'm not even looking at what he's doing right now, by the way. That looks better to me. You're right, dude. You did draw a giraffe. Dun dun dun. From this angle, only that front tuft would be like, that would be the tallest thing, you know. Like that tuft. Oh, I gotta do a little hand stretch. Do a little of this. Oh man, my dough's gonna be ready. My dough's been bulk fermenting. I got pizza dough upstairs for like 3 hours now on the counter. I wonder what it looks like right now. I wonder how it's doing. I like to do this too if I have like a Spider-Man mug handy. Kind of grip it like that. Use it to like orient the bones in your hand a little bit. Get yourself one of these things. Let's get back. Back to work. Back to work. gotta do. Gotta take her hair with it, because I want to keep that proportion of the hair, you know. That about where it needs to be. Yeah. That's way better. We're almost there, man. He finished before I could catch up. Alright, here we go. Let's lower this. How? Oh shoot, I'll just go ahead and end my stream. This was fun, right? Right? Or no, I said I was gonna work on release after that. Alright, well the lesson's over. I'm gonna post this real quick. Hold on a second. Save to files. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Here, you get to watch my trash for a second. Yeah, there was nothing. Luckily, I'm not signed into my usual email. Actually, hold on a second. Where am I? There we go. Nobody's watching, so I don't feel like I'm wasting anybody's time here. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and end the stream for now.